On the evening of September 8, 2022, the city of Nice prepared for a European night of football. French side OGC Nice were set to face Germany's 1FC Köln in the Europa Conference League, a fixture that, on paper, should have been a celebration of football culture. But instead, the match became one of the most violent and chaotic nights in recent European football history. In the hours leading up to kickoff, tensions began to rise around the Allianz Riviera Stadium. Thousands of Köln fans had made the trip to the French Riviera, many of them arriving in large groups, drinking heavily, and filling the bars and streets near the stadium. Among the traveling support were smaller groups of ultras and hooligans, known for their reputation in both Germany and France. Paris Saint-Germain fans were present as well. Since they have a friendship with Cologne, the friendship between Köln and PSG Ultras has existed for years, often visible in joint banners and mutual visits at European fixtures. In the hours before kickoff, violence had already erupted outside the stadium. Reports from French and German media describe multiple fights breaking out between rival supporters in the streets surrounding the Allianz Riviera. Groups of fans clashed near bars and public squares, throwing bottles and chairs as police struggled to keep them apart. As the stands began to fill, the atmosphere quickly changed. Reports from French media described groups of Cologne fans forcing their way into sections reserved for home supporters. Flares were lit, seats were torn from the stands, and projectiles began flying between rival groups. The situation spiraled out of control within minutes. French police and stewards attempted to separate the supporters, but the clashes spread rapidly through the lower stands. Fists, bottles, and even metal bars were used. In the chaos, a man, identified later as a Paris Saint-Germain supporter who had joined the Köln section, fell several meters from the stands and suffered severe head and chest injuries. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition. In total, 32 people were reported injured, including 2 police officers and a stadium steward. 4 of them had to be hospitalized. Authorities described the scene as a breakdown of all order. Kickoff, originally scheduled for 18:45, was delayed by nearly an hour as riot police regained control inside the stadium. When the match eventually started, the focus was no longer on football. Many fans were shaken, others furious. Köln players, led by captain Jonas Hector, approached the away end before kickoff, pleading with supporters to calm down. The image of Hector standing before the fans, hands raised, became one of the defining moments of the night. Both clubs immediately condemned the violence. Köln's management called the scenes disgraceful and vowed to identify and ban those responsible. OGC Nice issued a similar statement, calling the rioters a small minority who tarnished the club's image and that of European football. French officials blamed the violence partly on a mix of fan groups, including individuals from Germany, France, and other countries. According to reports, some of those involved were affiliated with ultras from Paris and even from Eastern Europe, suggesting that the clashes were not purely between Nice and Köln fans. UEFA launched an investigation into the incident, later issuing sanctions against both clubs. Nice were forced to play home games behind closed doors, while Köln faced fines and restrictions on away fan travel for subsequent fixtures. In Germany, police opened investigations to identify the supporters who participated in the violence. Köln's fan scene faced heavy criticism in national media, with politicians calling for stricter travel controls for high-risk matches.